Hey guys, this is Gabriel Lorenzi, creator of the blog Grupo Dicas, one of the biggest travel blogs in the world, and today I am here to talk to you about how to save a lot of money during your trip to Europe. So there are several cool tips that we have gathered here for you to be able to organize your trip to Europe spending very little. So these tips will be quick, useful, and not boring. So check out the video, subscribe to the channel guys, and let's go. Well, we decided to gather here in this video several cool tips that we have been acquiring over time with our trip, so you can organize your whole trip and plan everything right, spending as little as possible, so you will save a lot. There are several price comparators, cheaper sites, and several cool tips that will really make a difference. Something that interferes a lot in the value and cost of your total trip, which starts even before the research, the services, everything, are the months that you will travel. If you have the date flexibility and if you haven't booked your travel date yet, try to travel in the off-season months. The high season months end up being much more expensive, and in some cases the price doubles. So if you can travel in the off-season months, it will help a lot. In Europe in general, especially in the countries that are a little lower and a little hotter, the European summer is the most expensive time of all. It's at the end of June, starting in July, August, and the beginning of September. July and August are months when prices go up a lot, so if you can travel in the low season, you will already be able to save a good part of the money. The month interferes a lot. The first item you have to think about for your trip, and the one we usually buy first, is the airline ticket. It's usually the most expensive item on the trip. There's no way you end up spending a lot of money on the ticket, but you can save a lot. There are some great tips that help you save a lot on your airline ticket for all Europe. One of them is use an airline ticket price comparator. There are some on the market. We recently used one that offered excellent prices. We have bought our last tickets for the last 3-4 years, always through it, so we like it a lot. I'll leave the link in the video description along with all the other organized here. Don't worry, because they are all here below. You enter and put the date of your trip. It already searches all airlines, so you can search all airlines at once. You don't have to search several airlines to see the best price, everything, and compare, and it finds the best prices. It has a very good negotiation with the airlines because of the volume, and it's one of the best. They have very good prices. The prices are all there with taxes included. Research because it finds much cheaper airline tickets. Give preference to Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which are usually the cheapest days to travel. Usually on weekends and Fridays they end up being a little more expensive, and also night flights, they are usually more expensive. So try the afternoon flight options, which are usually cheaper. And there is also the tip about the airports nearby. What happens in Europe, the countries are very close. Usually you get to know more than one country on the same trip. So for example, you want to go to London, you want to go to Paris. Sometimes there's a much cheaper ticket to Portugal or to Spain, which are closer to South America because it's further down, and therefore there are more flight possibilities and more promotions. So you can take a flight to one of these countries, and from there you take an internal flight, which is very cheap. It's something absurd compared to international flights. The internal flights there in Europe have the airlines that are called low cost. They are the cheapest, and there's also the train. It works super well in Europe. You can get it from one place to another. So research the airports of the other tourist cities near where you're going. If you're finding it a bit expensive for your destination, look around and try to ride you arriving and leaving from other places. Generally the ones closest to South America are a little cheaper, but there are other airports that are very good, like Amsterdam and Paris, because as the amount of flights is absurd from South America to there, so there are even cheaper flights than others that are a little closer. So do a search in all destinations, that sometimes you can change 1-2 days of your trip and save good part of the money with the air tickets. And a cool tip that works for airline tickets, car rentals, and lodging is to buy as much as in advance as possible. Most of the time you will always save a lot of money if you buy as much in advance as possible. There are people who sometimes prefer to leave it a little closer, but from our experience it's always a bad idea. We ended up paying much more when it got close to the trip, so we always buy as soon as possible. We already have it guaranteed. Even if the dollar is high or the euro, the thing of waiting for it to go up or down, it can go down as well as up, so we always buy before to guarantee the best price. Most of the time it's what really works. And taking advantage that we commented about the trains in Europe, for those who don't know, are very good. They are fast, they have the high-speed trains, and they connect practically all the cities in all the countries. You can get there very easily. You don't need to check in and check out like you do in the airplane. So you arrive 15 minutes earlier and get straight into the car. You're already in your seat. It's a little more practical and sometimes a lot cheaper. So take a look at the train options and the routes you're going to take. It sometimes ends up being much cheaper. And a tip to save money is also to use a price comparator like the one for airline tickets. There is also a train price comparator. It's the biggest train price comparator tool in Europe. We'll leave the link here in the video description as well. You put in your date and it shows you the routes, all the companies that do this route, what's with the best prices, and it's super reliable because it's the biggest in Europe. So take a look, because traveling by train, you sometimes end up saving much more than by plane or car. So take a look, because traveling by train, you sometimes end up saving really a lot. And to finish this part about logistics, transportation, the car rental is also very important in several cities in Europe. In Portugal, it's very nice to go to the Algarve. In Italy, people go all over Tuscany. Finally, in Germany, there are the autobahns that have no limit speed. There are several nice places that people end up renting a car. And to rent a car, you can save a lot using the price comparator too. That's where we save the most. The difference sometimes ends up being very big. We are even impressed. So use the price comparator too. We'll leave the link here. There is a very good one that compares prices from all car rental companies. There are many good car rental companies. There is Alamo, Hertz, 60, the other is Europe Car, and you can see Trishy. And finally, there are several good car rental companies, so you can search them all. The one that has the best price goes there and guarantees that you will be the best price. And also, a cool tip about the GPS, usually the rental companies, when you make the reservation through the internet, already offer you to rent the GPS as well in order to get around and get to the place, but the cost is $7, $6 per day. At the end of the trip, it ends up being very expensive. And what happens, a good tip, buy a prepaid internet chip to use your cell phone out there. The chip that we recommend here in the video also, because we'll give the tip of the chip, it ends up being much cheaper than renting the GPS in the car. You use your cell phone as if it were a GPS, and you can still use your cell phone's internet at will there for the whole trip. So it's much cheaper to buy the chip and not rent the GPS in your car. And advance notice is also fundamental for the car. Rent it as soon as possible, because it's really worth it. You end up saving a lot of money in the car rental. And if you don't know, travel insurance is mandatory for Europe. For almost every country in Europe, you need international travel insurance, so make sure you have it so you won't have any problems. For God's sake, you can save a lot with it too. There's a price comparator similar to the one for renting a car and travel tickets. It searches all insurance companies, the best insurance companies in the world, and they end up offering you all the plans for a much cheaper price, but it's very cheap. You end up paying a very good travel insurance. For a 10-day trip, you will pay $25. It will cover you for all medical expenses. It covers medical assistance, lost flight, lost luggage, luggage theft, and several items that if you have problems during your trip, it covers for everything. So for the price, it's worth it. Even if it wasn't mandatory, we highly recommend it for the United States and South America. We always do it. We don't travel without one because it's really important. And if you need a medical consultation abroad, it's about $400 or more. Converted to that, the price is very high. And if you need to be hospitalized, go to the emergency room, something, the prices are absurd. So get travel insurance. For Europe, the requirement is medical assistance of coverage of $35,000. So you go there, it's usually this price that we talked about. A good insurance with this coverage is $25, $26 for 20 days of travel. The more days, the more expensive it gets, because the price of travel insurance is per day, and you do it for all of Europe. You don't need it for each country. It's one insurance for everything. So go there and put the date of your trip and search. It already shows you the main insurance companies. Make your own, issue the policy, print it out, and take it with you to enter Europe. It's super simple, super easy, and fast to get travel insurance, and there is no secret at all. You just go to the comparator, see the best option, and order yours. Another item that you have to worry about when you plan your trip and that you can save a lot is the tickets for the tours. Most of the touristic points and tourist attractions in the city require tickets. You need to buy the ticket to be able to enter and to be able to access these attractions. And the tip is buying your country and in advance, because you will pay cheaper. The prices are cheaper and you will not buy in euros, so you won't pay the IOF, the European taxes, the credit card exchange rate variation. You will pay in your own currency. You can pay installments. You don't pay any of these taxes and you end up paying cheaper. You also don't waste time in the lines. If you leave it to buy there, you will waste time standing in line and buying the tickets. Here you buy them all and travel with them in hand. In your country, there must be sites that sell them. There's a website that's international for the whole world and it's very good. We ended up discovering it here in our last trips. We will leave the link here below. It has the best prices. We already bought bought a lot of nice tours, mainly to Europe, and for the best price, all tickets you buy there. So as they have all tickets, you can make a single purchase, buy the tickets for your whole trip, travel with everything together, and you won't need to make several separate purchases. A cool tip that also seems a little funny, but that saves you a lot of money, is with water. A lot of people don't know, but when you arrive in Europe, we did this the first few times without knowing, you ask for a bottle of water at the restaurant, which is a bottle of water, and they will bring you that bottle that usually costs about 7 euros each. If you stay 10 days and order a bottle of water for lunch and dinner, you'll pay 140 euros just for water, which in the end is about 122, 138 dollars depending on the exchange rate. What many people don't know is that in Europe and in the United States also, the sink water is treated. Everybody drinks it without any problem. So if you get there and ask for tap water or just a glass of water, they bring you the tap water at no cost. It's totally courtesy of the restaurants. You don't pay all those euros for a simple bottle of water, so you end up getting an important saving. People think it's a joke sometimes and they laugh, and if you do the math, you see that it's a nice saving. Even more if you're in a group there or with your whole family. If you do the calculations, the saving can be very high. And follow us on social networks. We're always traveling the world and trying to show our tips in a very cool way and our routine in a very relaxed way, because you can't travel 365 days a year either. We have a routine here in Brazil, but we also try to travel as much as possible to show travel tips. If you liked it, didn't like the video, if you have any cool tips to share about Europe, leave us a comment or send us a direct message on social networks. We like this interaction. If you need help planning your trip, send it to us and we'll gladly help you. And here on the side, I'll leave some other cool videos for you to plan your trip in Europe and not have any problems at all. You can follow the playlist. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much and have a nice trip.